Well, I'm back just like I said I'd be back. So, here I am. I know you people just can't fucking get enough of me, so two videos in one day. Yeah, and just to clarify things right off the bat, this video is going to be a little on the morose side. Like I said in my previous video that I just got done making, um, this video is going to be about two tragic incidences that both happened a few days ago on Sunday. Um, the first one being um, the death of one of my all-time favorite boxers of like the modern era, definitely of the 90s. Um, Johnny Tapia. He was found dead in his home by his wife Teresa on Sunday. Um, 45 years old. There still is no autopsy report yet, but anyone that knows the Johnny Tapia story the way that I know it knows that he had a almost lifelong um, chronic, severe uh, drug addiction. Drugs were his world for so long, and I think they remained a massive problem for him, probably up until his death. It didn't come. It did come as a surprise to me when I heard on Sunday that he was found dead. I first saw it on Twitter, and the thing about Twitter is you hear all the time about, R.I.P. Justin Bieber and R.I.P. Lady Gaga, and he was rumored to have been dead, actually a few years ago. Um, I guess that's not the most amazing thing or surprising thing about it. Who the fuck is this now? You're gonna have to fucking wait. Um, that's not the most surprising thing, is that he was found dead. I mean, I'm always at least a little surprised when I hear about any fighter dying. Um, natural causes, overdose, murder, or, otherwise, suicide. Um, it happens a lot in boxing. Um, but the surprising thing for me, at least, was not the fact that he was found dead on Sunday, but the fact that he had been declared clinically dead like five different occasions in the past. Like four or five different occasions in the past. Um, and was revived each time. Um, yeah. Apparently, there was no escaping the 10 count this time. And it is sad. I mean, he was an extraordinarily talented performer in the ring. One of the slickest, smoothest boxers I've probably ever seen. Um, his defense was good. He slipped a lot of punches, blocked a lot of punches. Um, did you have, say, like the defense of a Floyd Mayweather or a Pernell Whitaker, um, or a Winky Wright? No. But his defense was good nonetheless. Um, he also had something I mentioned about Rocky Marciano in my last video. Similar to him, he just had a will and desire to win um, that just carried him through every fight. Um, I mean, he went. He was a fighter that went the first 48 fights of his career right out the box undefeated. Um, half or over half of those wins were by knockout. So he was a really good fighter, just extraordinary. Um, he started off at junior bantamweight, which is 115 pounds, and then later on moved up to bantamweight and then junior featherweight. Um, TV's on up here, so I get distracted easy. ADD. What you gonna do? Um, yeah. So moderate punching power. He could take a solid shot. The most important thing about him that I always admired is that he was someone that always had fun in the ring. He had fun. A lot of times he would play with his opponents, like toy with them. Um, not in a not in a mean spirited way, like um, a Prince Nasi Muhammad type thing, where he would just mock and just completely make fun of his opponents while he was in there. Not that, but if you played with him, he would like do a little lasso maneuver with his right hand and pop the guy with his other hand as he was doing that, and just it was fun stuff. And every time after he won a fight, he would do his trademark backflip. Um, Without question, the greatest champion to come out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, since the days of possibly the greatest light heavyweight champion and boxer, possibly of all time, uh, Bob Foster, who was a fighter back in the late 60s and 70s. Um, yeah. Um, just I have his 2006 autobiography, Mi Vida Loca, which was his uh, nickname in the ring. Very, very apropos, I might add. Um, yeah, Mi Vida Loca, The Crazy Life of Johnny Tapia. And even if you're not a boxing fan, I would highly suggest picking up that book and giving it a good read. Maybe you can check it out from a library if you don't feel like actually going out and purchasing it. But it is definitely a good read. Um, yeah, reading that, when I read through that book, it literally was like, I personally no longer believe in a hell since I am a pagan, but if a hell did exist, I believe was it had to have been Johnny Tapia's life. Johnny Tapia's life was hell. I mean, at 8 years old, he witnessed his mother uh, beaten, raped, kidnapped, and murdered by hanging. So I mean, yeah, from that point on, it was kind of it was an it was an uh uphill battle for him, like as far as in ring accomplishments go. But um, as far as personal life goes, it seriously was all downhill from there. Um, yeah, and there was another incident where he was, I believe it was around that same time, he was still a young kid, and he was on a bus filled with a bunch of other people, and I'm not sure if he was on a field trip or what it was, but he was on this bus, and they were going up this mountain, um, and the road that they were traveling up this mountain on was extremely narrow. Um, so it was already a precarious situation to say the least. You had to really, I think, like in that area where he was, you had to really, if you're a driver and you were driving up that road, you really had to watch what you were doing. Um, there was this pregnant lady that was on the bus with him, and she gave him sandwiches and talked to him and befriended him, during the trip, and you know, they became kind of like, buddies for that short period of time while they were on the bus. The driver of the bus was drunk. Throat was getting a little dry there. Um, yeah, the driver of the bus was drunk at the time. It said in the autobiography that he had a brown paper bag sitting next to him, and it had like a bottle of, I forget, either like whiskey or vodka or something, and it had mostly been drank. So the driver of the bus was in no condition to be operating a vehicle, especially on such a precarious roadway up a tall mountain. So the guy ended up um, swerving, I think, to avoid another vehicle, and he couldn't get the bus back aligned with the road. And they ended up going off over the mountain, over the side, straight down, uh, and Tapia saw the pregnant woman who befriended him on that trip and gave him sandwiches uh, fly through the windshield, hit a tree, and then the bus hit her. And amazingly enough, he survived that. I don't know how. I think um, a lot of the people on there died. I'm pretty sure. Um, I'm pretty sure the driver died, which, good fucking riddance, Don't fucking be drunk as fuck and then get behind the wheel of a bus carrying a bunch of people on it, you know? I mean, how fucking stupid are you? So, whatever. I'm glad that douchebag's dead. Um, yeah, so, it's all, for me, it's always a sad day when a boxer, any boxer, passes away, or is, you get the news that they're dead. I mean, to me, it's kind of like losing a family member, since I'm, I consider myself a part of boxing. Um, I'm not currently boxing right now. I'm, you know, trying to get things in order in my own life, but I do plan on going back to a gym at some point and start training again for fights. Um, So I am still a boxer, just inactive at the moment. But yeah, that is what I choose to pursue, still choose to pursue in the future. So, and I will be doing update videos in the future on that. So keep a lookout for those. The other thing I wanted to get to in this video that also occurred on Sunday was a motorcycle accident involving Paul the Punisher Williams, um, world class current boxer who was actually just recently signed up to fight um, Saul Canelo Alvarez in September. I believe it was September 5th. Him and Alvarez were supposed to um, main event that card. Um, and 10 to 1, I probably would have ordered that, even though they're not the two biggest names in boxing. Like, it's not like ordering a Mayweather pay per view, which I recently did, or a Pacquiao pay per view, which I did, or which I will do next month here in a few days, actually. Um, yeah, he was he was a really good fighter. I mean, he only had, I think, what, two losses on his record. Um, in fact, let me look this up here real quick. I have Wikipedia. Extremely unprofessional, but oh, fuck you, Paul Williams, boxer. Yeah, 41 wins, two losses. 27 of his 41 wins by knockout, and yeah, um, good fighter. Uh, 6'2" for someone who fought between welterweight, uh, junior middleweight, and middleweight. And for those not familiar with boxing weight classes, those are 147, 154, and 160 pounds, respectively. 6'2", so so really tall for those weight classes, especially welterweight and junior middleweight. Um, uh, Good southpaw boxer, good boxing skills. He threw a ton of punches, regularly threw over 100 punches per round, which is a really high um, output or punch output. Um, yeah, he defeated, world champs such as Kermit Cintron, Antonio Margarito, Winky Wright, um, and the last guy who beat him, Sergio Martinez. He beat Martinez a couple of years back in, like, I believe it was '09, or no, it was yeah, it was '09. Because in November or December of 2010, Martinez and Williams had a rematch. Williams outpointed Martinez via, I think it was unanimous decision or majority decision the first time around, and uh, Martinez avenged matters emphatically in the rematch at the end of 2010 via a crushing one-punch second round knockout. Um, the first and only time that there that Williams had been knocked out. Um, So yeah, people probably aren't going to give him his due, but you know, what the fuck ever. People that don't really fucking understand boxing the way that I and a lot of other uh, people who really know boxing do. So yeah, you have a lot of fanboys on here um, that think they know everything about everything, no matter what you try, what topic you want to bring up. But no, it's like whatever, fuck them. Paul Williams was a good fighter. Um, Getting on to the incident on Sunday, he was riding his motorcycle around his hometown in Georgia. Um, I forget exactly where he was from. Where was he from again? Um, oh yeah, Augusta, Georgia. He was riding his motorcycle around, and he was on this curve, on this turn, and he was the car who was there was a car next to him. The car was on the inside lane, and he was on the outside lane. I don't know if I'm doing the left to right thing correctly, but yeah. Williams was on the outside lane. The car was on the inside lane, and uh, on the turn, the car needed more some extra space to be able to make the turn. So Williams moved over closer to the edge, I guess, wherever the rail was alongside the other side of the road. He Williams moved over so that the car could, have a chance to move over. Um, an oncoming vehicle was approaching Williams, and then Williams eventually ended up having two choices. He could either drive uh, face first, or like head first into the oncoming car, or uh, detract and go down this embankment, which was about 100 feet long. And so he chose the latter option, ended up crashing his bike, flying, um, and landing on his back. He landed on his lower back, which severed his spine and his lower back, uh, paralyzing him from the waist down, instantly ending his boxing career at age 30. Um, that's also really sad to hear. I can't stand hearing about shit like that because he was someone who I truly believe had such a great future ahead of him. He was a good fighter. He had a fighter's mentality to keep on battling when things got tough in there. He could give it as well as he could take it as well as give it. Um, as far as his upcoming fight with Alvarez, um, I'm not sure he would have beaten Alvarez. He could have beaten Alvarez, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure Alvarez would have beaten him. Alvarez, I think, is going to be like one of the next big things in the sport. Um, but yeah, it's just a tragedy when shit like that happens to guys, so young. I mean, motherfucker is only 1 year older than me, and his career is over. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on that. The passing of someone who will possibly go into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in the future, and a career that ended far too early. Um, and apparently I can record for over 25 minutes, so nice. Um, Yeah, hopefully nothing like that happens to me. But if it does, oh well. Personally, if I would have my way about things and I was in the same situation as Paul Williams, I actually would have sped up and just crashed headfirst into the vehicle and, just did the fucking Superman thing. Just because that's me and I'm crazy like that. Um, I would probably be major league fucked up, but hopefully I would still be able to land and roll in a certain way to where I'd still be alive and hopefully not crippled or even worse, dead. Um, yeah, I'm the audio on the last video was good, I mean okay. I'm not sure how the audio on this one's gonna do. I have the fan on. Um, 2 videos back, which was my return video, I had the fan off and I have the TV muted. I have the TV muted now, but I have the fan on. So, yeah, my comeback video, everything was off. Everything was silent. So, maybe that had to do with the good audio quality. I don't know. Maybe not. But yeah, getting off topic again. Um, yeah, I can't stand when things like that happen, you know. Because deep down, Johnny Tapia was a good person. He was a great person. He was known as a bubbly person. Um, in fact, if I read that if you were a friend of Tapia's, he wouldn't just say, "Hey, how's it going?" He would come up to you and bear hug you and like squeeze, almost as if he never wanted to let go, almost as if he would be safe and secure and at peace if as long as he was holding on to you. Um, and may he now find the peace and tranquility and serenity that he could never find in this life. Um, as for Williams, he underwent spinal surgery today. So I'm hoping and praying that, that all went well. I'll probably do an update on him in the future or over the next few days. I'm not sure. He'll probably need serious rehab time. I heard that they were going to make a protective wall around the area where his lower spine got severed to where it would protect um, that part of the spine on upward so that his upper body will be able to function normally and he'll have full function in his upper body. But as far as the lower body goes, um, yeah, it's done. It's over with. And it is a shame. But he's at least still alive, and he's got family and friends that love him, and also a lot of boxing fans that love him too. And I still support him in everything he does. One of the last things I heard about him was he was getting into real estate. He was into real estate. He actually was owned and was selling like multiple uh, good money properties. So, who knows? Maybe he can go into real estate and still have a way to support him. And um, I don't remember if he's married or has kids or not, but it would be a good way for him to support himself and his family. And I've rambled on here for like half an hour, so this is longer than my last video, so I'm going to end this. Keep looking for videos from the future, and until next time, seconds out.